Hello and welcome to day 14 of the Non-Essential Podcast. It's me, Matty K. We've hit the 2-week mark of this 6-week lockdown. 4 more weeks to go, people. Although today there's been a bit of confusion because I've seen some people kind of posting online, they're upset that lockdown has been extended until the 13th of September. But it already had been extended to the 13th of September. So these people are just a few weeks late in the news, I think. And this is why you shouldn't go to your news feeds too often for news. Unless, like myself, you're fortunate enough to have actual real-life news readers on your on your friends' lists. So I go to them for the real kind of lowdown on things. But there's been a couple of people that have shared news bulletins or something, and I think they're just getting their wires a little bit crossed. They're a little bit confused, and as a result they've confused me today, because this particular lockdown has, for the last couple of weeks, been scheduled to finish on the 13th of September, and it still is. Like I said, there's a couple of people out there, I think, that they're about 2 weeks too late to the party, and they're only hearing about it now. It was always going to go until the 13th of September. Well, not always, because it originally, I think, was supposed to end this week. And then it got extended to the 13th 2 weeks ago. So catch up, people. You're 2 weeks late on the news. So that's that. Yeah, like I said, they've confused me as well. But I just watched a little news clip from 9 News, and basically nothing is set in stone, so people need to just fucking relax. This lockdown is going to the 13th of September, like has been discussed for the last 2 weeks at least, and after that it might go further. So just fucking relax, people. I'll let you know when to get angry over all this. But yeah, I won't be surprised if it's extended past the 13th of September. Apparently they can't do it. Legally, they can only put us in a state of disaster or emergency or something like that for 6 months. And we're coming up to 6 months because all of this really started back in, March. But I heard in this news bulletin that Dan the Man is already sort of in talks with solicitors or whatever, about, what powers does he have, and what do we need to change some laws to extend it. Because really, I mean, although the cases and all that sort of stuff are going down, the deaths are on the rise, so that's not good. The smart thing to do would probably actually be to extend it past the 13th of September because, like I said, although the cases are going down, deaths are going up. I mean, it's hard to really say where we're going to be in a month from now, but I don't imagine that this thing will be completely kind of eradicated and we'll be down to 0 cases in the next month. So in order to keep people alive, it might actually be the smartest thing to keep the lockdown going past the 13th. But obviously, nobody wants that, including myself. I don't fucking want it. I want to get the fuck out of my house. So, we're just gotta wait and see what happens, people. And one thing I am pretty confident about, though, is that I probably won't keep this podcast going beyond the 13th. If it is extended. I might just end it there, because mentally I have prepared myself to go until that date and not a day more. So, we'll just have to wait and see what fucking happens. You're listening to the Non-Essential Podcast. It's about as essential as a nightclub MC. So I've just finished watching this Lindy Chamberlain thing on Channel 7 tonight. There's a few things I want to discuss. from it. First of all, I'm just as confused by the whole case as I have been my whole life. You know, if you grew up in Australia, you're aware of this case, and everyone's kind of got an opinion on it. I don't know where the fuck I stand now, you know. I'm just as confused, I think, as I've ever been. I mean, you know, you see Lindy and her late former husband, Michael Chamberlain, who passed away a couple of years ago, I think. There was one bit of footage that was shown on this thing where it didn't sort of do them a lot of favors. It made them look like they were guilty. They were being questioned. You know, this is like a day or so after the event, and the reporter says something to him, and it was more Lindy who had this kind of like real kind of scowling kind of response to it, and I thought that was a bit interesting. But then, you know, I could totally see a dingo in the Northern Territory coming in and, you know, grabbing and running off with a baby. I mean, it's totally plausible. So yeah, I don't know. Look, if you want an answer from me, I think a dingo did it, based on what I've sort of watched tonight. But like I said, I'm still pretty confused by the whole thing. Denham Hitchcock, though, what a man! What a man he is. First of all, a very handsome man. No homo, by the way. I'm a completely straight man, but he's a beautiful man, Denham Hitchcock, and a very serious man too. You know, he does all of these, like, he's the guy when it comes to sort of investigative journalism. He loves just fucking going after whatever the fuck it is. And on this particular thing, he's basically he's kind of I didn't know that his dad was a reporter as well. His dad was a reporter for Channel 10 or something, and did a special on this particular case, you know, 40 years ago or something, or 30 something years ago. So Denham is just kind of picking up where his daddy left off, I guess, with this whole thing. And he interviews his dad as well quite a bit in this thing. It's quite touching. His dad now is in a wheelchair. I think he's a quadriplegic or something. Had an accident, so that's a bit fucked. But Denham Hitchcock, handsome motherfucker. He's the guy when it comes to investigative journalism in this country. He loves just getting his fucking hands dirty. He loves just getting in there and fucking righting wrongs. One day when I have my sort of Joe Rogan Experience type podcast, I will have him on the show. He'll probably become a regular, because I think he'd be a bit of a mad cunt to talk to when it comes to things like this, you know. The big issues, going after the big issues he is, and the big stories, and getting to the bottom of shit. So Denham Hitchcock, love your work. Let's talk. I'll have my people call your people. I don't have any people. But one day, when I do, my people will be calling your people. You're listening to the Non-Essential Podcast, or TNEP, hosted by me, Matty K. Lockdown 2.0. We're all in this together. Something else I saw today that made me chuckle a little bit. I was watching the news earlier, and there was a report about, because it's like, I think it's the 75th anniversary of World War II ending or something like that. And there was a bit of footage from like over in England or whatever, and Prince Charles is delivering some sort of speech about it, as is part of his royal duties. But he's wearing like this, he was fucking pimped out. He was wearing this cream sort of jacket, which I didn't think would be very royal of him. I thought, you know, navy blue is kind of the royal thing, and you can only be seen in navy blue suits as a royal. But there he was, Charlie, standing there in this cream coloured jacket, And he also had this big fat fucking gold ring on his ring finger. And I was like, have a look at fucking Prince Charles just fucking pimping at whatever the fuck this is. This speech is delivering to commemorate the end of World War II. Just pimping. Like, I was looking at it and I've never seen Prince Charles look like this before. I've never seen him wear big fucking rings. I've never seen him wear anything other than a navy blue fucking suit. And I was just looking at it and I was like, Charlie, fucking settle right down, mate. I know you're probably going through some sort of fucking... Well, you're not even in a midlife crisis, really. You're probably closer to the end of your life, aren't you? How old are you? Maybe it's midlife, I don't know. When does midlife start? Because I'm probably fucking close to it. Got a crisis to look forward to. That's great. On top of fucking everything else, I got a midlife crisis that is looming, probably. Although I think I went through a bit of a midlife crisis in my early 20s, so I reckon I'm probably done with it. But Charlie, Prince Charles, fucking settle down with your cream-coloured suits and your fucking big flashy gold fucking jewellery. Next he's going to be wearing, big gold chains around his fucking neck. And, you might as well throw a fucking bum bag over his shoulder or some shit, or a satchel, whatever you want to fucking call it, a man bag. I ain't hating on man bags. Sometimes I wear one, occasionally, very rarely. I don't really wear them as such. I more just kind of carry my belongings in them from the front door to the car, because it's a bit easier than just stuffing everything in my pockets. I don't really wear them around. Yeah. Anyway, settle down, Prince Charles. Yeah. Settle right the fuck down. You're listening to the Non-Essential Podcast, hosted by me, Matty K, a complete and utter moron who is not essential to anyone in any way, shape or form. Keep listening. The other day when I was watching the footy, I was actually going to bring this up on the podcast, about the mullets that I'm seeing flying around. I know the mullet hairstyle has kind of been this, it's been a bit of a jokey kind of thing that a lot of dudes who just like kind of, it's almost a way for dudes to like peacock these days. There's always that one dude in the group of dudes who's like, the Joker and of the bunch. He's the one who'll grow like a fucking chopper mustache for Movember, and he's the one that'll rock a mullet. And, so over the last few years, the whole mullet thing has been a bit of a joke. And I was going to talk about it, like I said the other day on the podcast, when I was watching the footy and I was seeing a lot of mullets flying around. And I was like, what is going on? Why are so many dudes trying to bring the mullet back? Like, we need to stop it, because it is the most disgusting hairstyle of all time. And one that I am proud to say I never rocked. When I had hair, I'm starting to lose it all now, but when I had hair, I never rocked a mullet. I'm very proud of myself for that. But then I heard, I think it was yesterday, that it's actually to raise awareness for mental health, which I'm all for. I think a lot of us these days have had, especially, in lockdown and all that sort of stuff, some battles with mental health and things over the years. I know I've had a few battles here and there. So now I'm changing my tune a little bit on the mullet. I still would probably like to see less of them, and I think together we can probably come up with a better way to raise awareness for mental health, rather than mullets for mental health. It is just, I don't like it's not the 80s anymore. The 80s was a great time, don't get me wrong. I was born in the 80s. But as far as, when I'm watching the footy, I don't want to see fucking mullets flying around anymore. Let's leave them in the 80s where they belong. Let's leave them with people like Dermot Brereton, who had a beautiful kind of, mullet that was almost a perm. but I think the time for it has gone. And like I said, I think if we want to raise awareness for mental health, we can come up with something better than growing a mullet. You know, like what happened to the ice bucket challenge? Like, you know what I mean? Like what, things like that. Let's put our heads together. Let's put our mulleted heads together and come up with a better thing that everybody can jump on for a couple of weeks to raise awareness for mental health. Because mullets, I just, like I said, I just don't want to see them.
You're listening to the Non-Essential Podcast with Maddie Kay. Help.
Well, I think that's about all I really wanted to touch on today. This has probably been the quickest I've actually ever recorded one of these podcasts. So that's good. Maybe I'm getting better. Maybe I'm getting better at this shit, people. I don't know. It's day 14. It's the end, really, of day 14 because it's now, 10 o'clock at night. Keep pushing through, people. Keep pushing through. We've only got, we've got 4 more weekends. Hopefully, things don't get extended. As I said earlier, I don't think, from what I've heard, that things can be extended just yet. So let's just all agree to not get too fired up about things being extended until they actually have been extended, which they have not been yet. So those few people that I've seen freaking out, nothing has been extended yet past the 13th. So relax. There's talk of it, but it hasn't actually happened yet. So let's relax. And keep going. Another week is gone. I think week 2, to be honest, I think this week went a little bit quicker than last week. So I don't know if that really means anything. I'm looking at my calendar right now and I actually see that Lockdown 2.0 was originally scheduled to end on this coming Wednesday, and then it got extended on, when was it, the 2nd of August to the 13th of September. So at the moment it's still scheduled to end on the 13th. Let's not freak out about it being extended further because that hasn't actually happened yet. Anyway, this is the end of day 14 in Lockdown 2.0 here in Melbourne town. This has been the Non-Essential Podcast. It is not essential for you to listen to it at all. But if you have, thank you very much. We're doing this every day until the 13th of September at least. And as I said earlier, if lockdown gets extended beyond that, I probably won't continue doing the podcast. Even though, as I just said at the start of this particular break, that maybe I'm getting better at this whole thing. This has been probably one of the quickest recording sessions, and I'm just now 14 days in, starting to find my feet with this whole thing. Who knows? But anyway, it is a chore. It is a little bit of a pain in the ass that I need to do it every day. So yeah. Anyway, fucking just rambling now. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Day 15 tomorrow. Start of another week. And let's just hope it goes by even quicker than I feel this week went. Anyway, yeah, goodbye.